Hello and welcome to the Adjunct Educator Conference of 2019. This is Piper Wilson. I work with dual credit here at OTC. I hope you've had a great experience thus far at this event. The focus with your department chair should have been course content related, and then this session here with me today will focus on the admissions and enrollment, some calendar discrepancies and deadlines, and some other expectations as far as the registration process. We will put this session on repeat, and you can ask any questions or express any concerns that you may have after the session. You can always contact us at dualcredit@otc.edu. These are the big picture reasons why our program continues to grow and why so many schools are choosing to partner with OTC. We have the least expensive option in the area for college credit at $35 a credit hour. The courses that we offer in partnerships with our schools have application to most degrees. Some dual credit partners offer more classes, but then students are left with courses that don't work toward degrees, and that's not really a good service to you or the students. The courses that we do offer, about 98% of them are Core 42 approved, meaning that they have a transfer guarantee tied to the course, and we'll talk more about that later in this session. We also give our school partners the maximum amount of funds back to the school district. So while students pay in $35 a credit hour, we give $25 back. Again, that's the least cost in and the most cost out. You can see that we're netting $10, and that's not a good profit margin for a business, but we hope that students have a great experience and that you have a great experience teaching, and that students will come back to see us after they graduate high school. Another reason that schools and students prefer OTC is that we have simplified processes for instructors and for students, and I'll talk more about that as well. Here are the cost savings pertinent to students and families. One, students save a lot of time by taking the class once versus taking the high school subject and after high school graduation. Students pay a discount. The class while you're in high school is significantly cheaper through dual credit than taking it after high school graduation. We are about $40 cheaper than our competitors in the area per class, and then we're several hundreds of dollars cheaper if a student takes the course through dual credit with OTC as opposed to waiting after high school graduation and taking the class at OTC, which is still the most inexpensive option in the area. And the third reason students and families benefit from experience in dual credit is the likelihood of increased college success. With a quick Google search, see all kinds of data about how much students and families benefit when students start college early. I did a quick search and found the following examples. Students that do dual credit are twice as likely to enroll in college. They're 11% more likely to persist to the second year of college. They're twice as likely to earn a degree. They earn higher GPAs compared to students that didn't participate in dual credit. And they are 50% more likely to enroll in a class after high school at the same institution that they did dual credit with. I hope those talking points help you market to students and families that are interested in taking your course for dual credit. That said, we're here today to talk about you. Because when you applied, you met the same criteria as our adjuncts. That means that you are just as eligible for additional classes outside of dual credit with OTC, so feel free to contact your department chairs about that benefit. Partnering with dual credit also is a savings to schools with the cost of dual credit and also the remuneration funds that we give back. We pride ourselves here at OTC in having simplified processes. So as we go into more detail about the admission steps for students, I hope that continues to become evident for you. We really do want you and your students and your school to have a great experience, and we are here to help. And lastly, it looks great on your school report cards to have students completing college credits while they're still in high school. Here are some data that demonstrates that we do have a good product and good relationship with students, family, and schools. In the fall of 2012, we only had 145 students unduplicated enrolled in dual credit. Looking forward to this past spring, we almost reached 1,000 students, which is some great growth in a few short years. We also have increased our school partnerships to about 60 this past spring. We have about 3 to 4 new schools each school year. This is our agenda for today, all that we're going to accomplish here in this presentation. And we will do our best to get you the information that you need in order to have a great school year. And we won't take up too much of your time today because we know it's a Saturday and we want you to get back to your last little bits of summer before school starts. All right, let's get started with Core 42. Core 42 is a statewide program primarily for students. So in the past, schools like MU could say, oh, we don't want your English 101 composition because we want students to take our English 101. So people at the state got together and said, we need to have common educational objectives across public institutions at the state so that students can transfer their credits and colleges can't deny them the credit that they've already taken. So Core 42 is a great benefit to students in college, whether that's dual credit or post-secondary credit at any public institution in the state of Missouri. It is focused on general education courses. It is the focus of the courses that we offer in our dual credit program, but it's not the end-all be-all of the list of classes that transfer. The list of classes for the Core 42 have a transfer guarantee. There are additional classes that transfer to other institutions as well. Most credits from OTC transfer well, even the ones that are not on the Core 42 list. We always recommend that students contact the transfer institution that they wish to attend and get it in writing if that college will take courses from OTC and which courses they will take. That's best practice no matter where a student goes and no matter where they take credit. If you have additional questions or want to refer parents to more information, you can go to otc.edu and type Core 42 in the search box, and that will pull up the complete list of Core 42 information for OTC and also direct you to resources about Core 42 across the state. Another big picture item to clarify here early in this presentation is who to contact. The main division between the two primary contacts that you'll have is if it's course related, those questions are all funneled through your department chair. The second area is related to student services, admissions, registration, payment. That all goes through the dual credit office. Here are some more specific examples of quote-unquote course-related things that you can contact your department chair or lead instructor about. And on this slide, we have some specific examples about the types of questions or concerns you would direct to the dual credit office. There are two things that might be considered course-related, but do in fact go to the dual credit office, and those are asterisked here. For the approved courses that you will teach at the high school, we do need to know in the dual credit office when you plan to offer those courses. If you are ever interested in adding course options that you teach at your high school through dual credit, that will also start in the dual credit office, similar to how you applied initially. We will talk about some more things relevant to this later in the presentation. For dual credit, please direct questions and concerns either from yourself, from students and parents. Please direct all of those to dualcredit@otc.edu, and that's really for a good experience for all. If you direct things directly to my email, sometimes they get lost and buried, but if you direct it to dualcredit@otc.edu, I respond to those questions and concerns at that email address, and we have 2 additional employees that help with that too. So it's a great customer service, and it's a great response time if we use that shared email address. Another big picture area of clarification exists within the two types of instruction that's offered within OTC dual credit. Whenever you see the words seated or on-site instruction within dual credit, we are talking to you. Seated and on-site instruction is for our approved high school instructors that are employed by the high school and they're teaching OTC educational objectives at the high school. Online and remote instruction is OTC courses taught by an OTC instructor or an OTC adjunct that's all entirely online, primarily through the use of Canvas. If your school doesn't offer online and remote instruction, you can ignore information that comes to you about this. Please be careful to read information that comes your way that specifically says seated and on-site. All the things that we kind of require and expect of you are for a reason, and that's primarily because of the accreditation and some other parties that we deal with that have specific policies. These are the main reasons why we have these expectations. As an instructor with OTC dual credit, you have a lot of great resources at your disposal. I specifically want to point out a couple of resources for you, all through otc.edu. If on our main page you select the My OTC icon, you can access the My OTC portal, which is how you will enter grades, how you will access your OTC email, and how you can access Canvas as well. If you have questions or concerns about Canvas and the software that is sometimes tied to Canvas, if you need tutorials about how to use Canvas, please contact our online office. They are a great resource, and I've included the number for you here. If you have questions about Outlook, how to forward your OTC email to your high school email so you only have to check one email. If you or your students need help with username and password, then your primary contact for those questions and concerns is the OTC Help Desk, and their number is 417-447-7548. And don't forget that otc.edu, the search engine there, is powered by Google, and so if you have anything that you can think of or you want to see more about, just go to otc.edu and use our search engine to type in any keywords, and you'll get some great results there too. Moving on to the items specific to the dual credit office registration and admissions processes. The first item to discuss here is that before we ever enroll students, we need to know when to schedule your course that you're approved for, and we need to know that in advance so that when students start enrolling, there's no confusion for them and there's no delay in getting them enrolled. If you teach OTC's educational objectives in the fall only, then let us know before the fall semester that you plan to offer a fall course. If you teach OTC objectives in the spring semester only, then let us know the semester before that you plan to teach the course for spring. If you need the school year to teach the educational objectives of the course, then let us know that you are offering the course in the spring semester only. And we do that because as students are finishing the school year with you, their final grade for the school year should be the end of the semester grade in the spring with OTC. If you have any questions about that, let us know. Send us the course code in which semester you're teaching OTC's objectives to dual credit at otc.edu, and we will build that course for you in our system in order to give you and your students and families a good experience when it's actually time to enroll. Another item to be aware of after course approvals and before enrollment begins is the admission steps. There are several ways to view the admission steps. The primary one is through otc.edu and search for dual credit checklist, and that will take you to the admission steps. We also provide the admission steps via the dual credit letter that we send via email. Both of these admission steps list the steps in sequence and also have deadlines posted within. Students are required to follow these specific admission steps in order to enroll in dual credit classes and pay the discounted price. If students complete admission steps that are outside of dual credit, they will be enrolled in the long classes and they are likely to pay the full regular tuition price. So it's very important that students and families follow the information provided on these sites and within the dual credit letter. The student eligibility guidelines recommend students be 16 years of age at the time they begin the OTC course. That said, we know some of our schools, because of their course scheduling and sequencing, sometimes offer the OTC course to sophomores in high school. Before we go into detail about the admission steps, here are some registration deadlines that are pertinent to 19 fall. We will send this information to you in the dual credit letter via the monthly newsletters. It's posted on the dual credit checklist. You can take a picture of it today if you want. These deadlines are sometimes consistent with our online and sometimes not, but these are the deadlines for you. So if you have students interested in your course that you're teaching at the high school, the registration deadline for that option is September 11th. Students can go in and out of class anytime before that, but the cutoff is September 11th and we cannot enroll students after. We do have a very late registration deadline compared to our competitors, and so when we do cut it off, it's cut off for a reason, because we can't enroll and disenroll any longer. And that also allows us to prepare for billing. And it starts September 24th. Students should see their billing post to their account on that day. Once billing does post, we will start sending payment reminders to students, to parents, and to notify you at the school as well that billing has in fact posted. The absolute deadline to pay is October 25th. If students want to go in and make multiple payments between September 24th and October 25th, they are more than welcome to do so. If students do not make their account into zero by October 25th, then students will be dropped for non-payment, which means that students will no longer be in the course and all that work that they completed with you will go to waste. They won't get credit for that class. So it's very important that students finish the payment process in order to actually earn credit for the class. The last day to drop for student-initiated drops is December 4th. Students can drop the class up until that date and they can get a W on their transcript. So if they're doing very poorly in your class, they need to drop by December 4th in order to get a W. If they drop the class after December 4th, then they get the letter grade they earned on their college transcript. And lastly, December 16th is the final grade deadline for students enrolled in your course. We need those final grades posted into my OTC by you. Next up is the admission steps to enroll. The admission steps for the best experience should occur in sequence. However, the admission steps in bold are required. Starting at step number 2, all students need to apply to become an OTC student. Step 2 is an online application wherein students select dual credit and say that they are participating while in high school. After submission of step 2, a username and password is generated for students, and that is emailed to the email address provided on the application. Within that email, we also remind students of the next steps. Step 3, guided self-placement, is for students taking English and math. Step 4 is another required step wherein students specify which class they wish to enroll in. And students and parents and you can scan an email or take a very clear, clean picture of the registration form that's provided in step 4 and email that to dualcredit@otc.edu only. Please do not fax or snail mail or use any other email address to submit registration forms. They do get lost, and that's never a fun conversation to have with students and parents and instructors about why a student wasn't enrolled only to find out that we never got the form. Please send the registration form completed to dualcredit@otc.edu only. And again, that is the only way we know that the student wants to be enrolled in a course. They can do step 2, the application, without giving us any course information, and we cannot enroll them in a course after step 2 because we don't have parent permission. The course information and the parent permission piece is all step 4. Sometimes people get those two steps confused, but step 2 is the application to be an OTC student, and step 4 is the permission form for us to enroll them in class. We will direct students to you for course materials because you are the expert. You know which course materials you're using at your school and those course materials that are approved by the department chair. The payment piece we've talked about a little bit already. We will email billing once it posts. If students look in their account after they're enrolled, it probably says a 0 balance. Once that billing does post, we will communicate with you and we will accept online payments only. Please do not send checks. They get lost, and that's not a fun conversation to have either. So please wait for the billing to post. Please wait for the email about billing and how to pay, and use the links provided within those emails to make payments online. Alright, so in sequence we've talked about the instructor approval process. We've talked about the pre-enrollment stuff. We've talked about how students enroll, including the admission steps and the deadlines. So now let's talk about the post-enrollment. In order to finalize and finish enrollment, we need confirmation from you that the list we send after the enrollment deadline is complete. If there are any errors or discrepancies, we need to know immediately. You can view your roster at any time through otc.edu in your MyOTC account. You can also request the roster at any time via dualcredit@otc.edu, and we're happy to send that to you that way as well. Failure to review, check, confirm your roster, communicate discrepancies causes a lot of issues for us here at OTC, for you, for the student and parent experience as well. So this is the way that we have to finalize enrollments to make sure that students are in the classes that they need to be in order for billing to occur properly, in order for you to get your remuneration as well. Triple check the roster that we send you to make sure the right students are enrolled in the right classes. Once roster confirmations occur, there are only 2 ways that a student can be disenrolled from a class. The first is to use that same registration form from step 4 in the admission steps. Students will write drop in only the course they wish to drop from, and they will submit that to dualcredit@otc.edu. The second way that a student can be disenrolled is for non-payment. If students do not make their balance 0 by the payment deadline, they will be disenrolled from the course, and we will notify you if that disenrollment occurs for non-payment. Here are some things to be aware of as it pertains to final grades. There are some dual credit partners that state that students have to earn a C or better to actually earn the dual credit. For academic integrity reasons, students earn the letter grade that they earn for the course. So if students don't do well in your course, then they get a poor grade, which goes on their college transcript. Before the semester ends, we will send you detailed instructions for how to submit final grades in MyOTC. We'll also give you instructions for how to submit your gradebook to an OTC employee. This is something that doesn't go to the dual credit office. It typically goes to the secretary of the department chair. Unless your department chair requires you to use Canvas, make sure that you can download a copy or save it into a PDF, something that is readable, so that if a student or parent concern arises 5 years from now and they contact OTC, we can communicate what we know based on that grade book for that student and that family. We understand that high school and college discrepancies occur as far as the calendar. If your school is still in session and you are still teaching after the deadline for final grade, please let us know. We do not want you to be finished with the OTC course and stuck with not knowing what to do for the next week or two that you still have high school. So please continue to teach OTC's educational objectives for the duration that you need within reason, close to the deadline. Typically the portal will still remain open after the deadline and you can still submit final grades if you are someone that has a calendar discrepancy. The remuneration process only begins after all final grades are submitted by you and a copy of a gradebook is provided to the designated OTC employee. And again, remuneration is just a funny word for our process of sending funds paid in by students and schools back to the school district. This money is paid out for students that fully completed the admission steps, participated in your course, and for students that received any letter grade. We pay that back out at the $25 per credit hour rate, and those funds for our tax regulations here at OTC are sent directly to your high school. If you have questions about how those funds are used, please contact your high school. And that's part of our partnership agreement with the high school, and so the high school is the one that makes those decisions about how those funds are used. Sometimes they are also used for administrative costs and to purchase textbooks that are required to be used for the dual credit class. Keep in mind that OTC offers a lot of really great programs for students while they're in high school, as well as after they graduate high school. So here's a list of things that students can participate in with OTC while they're still in high school. If you have questions about these programs, I would first recommend to go to otc.edu and use the title to enter into the search box to find more information. A question I get asked frequently is about dual credit options during the summer months. Because we offer dual credit at such a discounted rate and we don't make a profit, we offer the dual credit program in the fall and spring only. That's for the seated option and the online option. A great option for any student that's in high school that wants to take summer classes is our Early Start program. Again, students can take courses of interest or gen ed classes, tech ed, allied health, any course of interest, online or seated, all through the Early Start program. The price point is our regular OTC tuition rate. So if you have students asking or parents asking for summer classes, please direct them to otc.edu and type Early Start in the search. The best way to request transcripts from OTC is to go to otc.edu and search for transcript or transcript request. OTC employees, you as the instructor, parents cannot request transcripts for students. Students need to contact the college they attended and do a transcript request. Transcripts are not requested or processed by the dual credit office. There's a whole separate department that does transcripts for the entire college. Any student that's in dual credit, their transcripts will not indicate that they completed the course for dual credit. If a student takes Math 130 in dual credit, their transcript will simply reflect Math 130. If you have questions or if you're referring people to assistance, please go to otc.edu and search for transcripts to get to the right department. And lastly, we hope that each and every one of you has had a great day here with us. We hope that you've learned a lot, and remember your resources to help you have a great school year. Don't forget to go to otc.edu and use the search tool in your MyOTC account. Feel free to refer to information on the website as well as our dual credit letter and within our monthly dual credit newsletters. Don't forget that your primary questions and concerns about course information is directed to the department. If you or your students have questions and concerns about Outlook, username and password, please direct those to the help desk at the keyword search help desk or the number provided. In order to schedule your courses, admissions processes and deadlines, calendar discrepancies, please direct those to dual credit. Please feel free to stay behind and ask me any additional questions or concerns. I'm so happy to talk to you. If you think of anything after today, please give us a call at the 8198 number listed, which is our main dual credit number, or via the dual credit email, and we're happy to help throughout the school year as well. Thank you so much. Enjoy your last little bits of summer and have a great day.